few slides here to take you through some of the things we've been doing in the organisation to make sure we can deliver to new clients that are joining, but more importantly, all the current clients we already have. So basically, in terms of the growth strategy of the company, it's very similar to a slide that we put up last year in terms of what the focus of the organisation is and in terms of what we're trying to do. Basically, we're trying to focus in on what we do best at all times, which is basically deliver the world's best web content management offering. Very much a product-focused offering, so the goal being to make you, our clients, as self-sufficient as you want to be. If you want to use us to implement, we're happy to do so. If you want to use our partners to implement, that's fine. But more and more of our clients are doing a lot of the implementation themselves. Focusing into particular markets, we particular strength, as Pierre mentioned, in higher education. We have the simple mantra: if we can solve the problems of higher education about content management, where you've got the largest amount of content, the most interesting political structures, shall we say, and organizational structures, we can probably, and most interesting technical structures, we can probably solve the problems of web content management in a number of industries. The product is key to everything, and we're going to take you through what we're doing in the product, what's in the product today, and also what we're planning to do in the future. And then, as we sell the product, increased focus on being able to make sure we deliver to the commitments for the initial deals that we provide. I'll take you through here some of the things we've been doing in this regard to ensure we can do this on a global basis, as it were. And most importantly is the growth of the community, because this is frankly how we learn. You guys do a lot of our market research for us, because based on that we decide what goes into the product, and we can't really overemphasize that. We talk to Gartner all the time, or Forrester, or people like that, and they say the market is going here. Gartner are currently trying to rename web content management to be online channel optimization, and some people are renaming their products to be online channel optimization products as well. We think web content management probably is here to stay for a while, as a name anyway. And then the growth of the team. This has been a big one for us in terms of the numbers, and I'll take you through some of that. But what do we do best? Same as we've had over the last number of years. Make it really easy for you to deliver very large, highly devolved, multilingual websites, intranets and extranets. And we've seen a growth this year, for example, in intranet-style deployments. Piero mentioned the Central Bank of Bahrain. We're doing a similar. We just rolled out a large system with Specsavers, Optic Group, for a worldwide intranet with them, based on the technology as well. Okay, the product, as I said, is key. Over the last year, we've had ongoing rollouts of various versions of the product. I know it's hard to keep up with stuff like that. One of the comments that we had yesterday from some of the guys was there's so much there, it's just knowing what's there and how to do it. And there was some very good feedback yesterday in terms of finding out what's there and what's the best way of doing that. And we appreciate any kind of feedback on that. That might be something we need to look at in one of the focus groups. So, series of releases. I think last year we were just putting out 709. Since then, we've put out a bunch of other revisions, including the 7.1 series, right up to 7.104, which was just last week, which is more of a maintenance release. And it's very significant ongoing development, and as Piero said, we think we're now at about 80% of our client base is on version 7. That's grown quite significantly in terms of all new clients naturally would go onto it. But we've been upgrading a couple of our larger established clients to version 7 during the year. We've had some very large upgrades, and there's some which are in progress at the moment, including University of Manchester, probably one of our biggest clients. They've decided to upgrade to version 7 today, which is where they're guaranteed to get brilliant support from Terminalfour, or to take it tomorrow. So we'll find out about it later on how they've got on, but they've been going through a whole planned exercise for that. Just to give you an idea on what we really do mean, that we will take your ideas and roll it back into the product. This is just a few of the hundreds and hundreds of features that we put in, some small, some large, over the last year, that were based on feedback from you as clients. So one of the new features that went in recently was called section mirroring, the ability to mirror mirror content in sections as well as just individual content items, or as one of our clients said, useful mirroring. That we can roll out on a wider basis. A whole bunch of stuff around DirectEdit. It's very interesting to see that clients are using DirectEdit as being the only interface for updating their content. I know it's been rolled out specifically, for example, in roads in South Africa. A whole bunch of other ones in terms of just making the product easier to use. Some workflow enhancements. Workflow has always been an area which requires work, shall we say. We put a number of enhancements in that over the years. Things that came from previous T4Us. Last year we had a big thing about content status, and we put in a capability called Save to Draft. There was a whole workshop around this last year, so that's now part of the product. So you can now save your authors can now save the content, go off and have lunch, and to come back and the content is still there. So it's kind of an obvious thing to have out there, but it's there now. Content ownership, so you can actually designate whole parts of the site, sort of owners of that part of the site as opposed to the authors, so you can, and your workflow can revert to them. Whole ton of stuff. Piero mentioned the Welsh interface. That screen grab there is just from yesterday. Some work with Germany. This is the first Chinese interface for the product, which we're doing for Ring Your Media in Hong Kong. Not quite there yet; needs a bit of work, but it is actually there. We've also put in this year French and Spanish. I've gone in as well. What am I missing? I think German we're working as well. So the technology is there to keep it into languages where we're developing. The development is focused very much first and foremost on ease of use, client-driven features, making everything come out of the box. So the graphic there is the sample data which comes with the product. We're putting more and more stuff into that sample data to make sure that when you start, you get an example of how to do it. All the documentation we do is based around the sample data as well. Now some of you who are established clients of previous versions of upgraded mightn't have access to this. We're working on a way to actually make it available to all clients. We can always give you access to a version which has it if you want to see it. But this is a key way for us. We're rolling out the new features and showing you what can be done with the product. Performance is always a huge thing. Paul will be talking about some of the things we've been doing there. We've got some big clients starting up at the moment. I know Chris is here from the OECD. OECD was one win we got just at the beginning of the year. We're very proud to actually we'll be powering all the OECD websites in Paris. Unfortunately, they won't let us tell the world about it because we had a great tagline. Finally, some good news from Ireland, from the OECD, but they wouldn't let us announce it. But they've got 1.5 million pages of content that we're migrating from a vignette environment into ours. We're getting into a bit of a habit of taking these heritage content management systems like Vignette and Interwoven and Red Dot and bringing the technology into a more modern environment in Site Manager. And we'll take you through more of the kind of stuff we're doing here. It's what we're kind of focusing on. Quality is a huge thing for us. We had an event that we did with some clients at the IWMW event. This is a higher education event in the UK. We had a similar session to the T4 for Tech earlier in the year in Reading, in the University of Reading. And one of the questions was, can you give us some statistics on the number of bugs that are being raised and how quickly they're being fixed with releases? So this pretty graph, which is produced by Gene, who we'll introduce later, basically it shows, so green is good, okay? Just when green is good. The number of issues that are being logged by clients and being resolved in subsequent releases. So we're trying to stay on top of what we hear from clients in terms of issues, so we resolve them and get them into subsequent releases to guarantee you've got the best possible quality in the product as it rolls out. So we're continually trying to push this forward. We have a whole dedicated QA team, one of our Therese is here in the team. That team has grown, and we want to make sure that as much as possible we're getting keeping the quality up to speed and getting the releases out to yourselves. This leaves us with a little bit of a challenge, which we talked about yesterday, is how do we put in new features and bug fixes at the same time. What's the best way of us to release those to you? And certainly here from the R&D team, we'd like to understand your views of how best we'd like to see that happen. So this doesn't show all the bugs. We find a whole ton of other things or issues during our QA cycles and internal. So it's a classic statistic manufactured for graphical purposes here. But genuinely, we are fixing issues as you raise them. We're fixing them. There's a whole roadmap. I won't go into this now. Gene and Paul will go through this tomorrow. A planned roadmap for the 7.2 series of releases, which will be kicking off early in the new year and all across next year, and how we're planning to bring those out. So I won't go through it now. We can go through it tomorrow. The delivery of the projects is absolutely key to us. We've been delivering, I don't know how many projects in Laura can attest to. I think at the moment we're implementing about, it's not intended to scare people, I think about 28 new projects for new clients at the moment, and we've got a queue of others to kick off as well. So it's a bit of a challenge for the delivery team. It's a great challenge to have. It's good that we've been managing to do this around the world, and with some developments in the organisation we'll take you through how we can keep ensuring we do that to make sure that you basically run our sure start methodology to get you live for your first sites and then assist you with subsequent projects as well. So in terms of people, we have a few new faces this year. So I think it's about, since last year, it's 22 new people who've joined the company. Okay, so the ones around the edges are the new guys. And no, there isn't a competition like last year where we popped in Brad Pitt's face and stuff like that, and you had a spot prize for it. So I don't think anything looks like Brad Pitt in there. So a bunch of new faces. These are their names. So if you can jot down those names and remember them later on, that's the spot prize. Remember all those. Whoever can recount them later on. I don't think anybody in Terminalfour, besides perhaps Hillary, could recount them. But just to highlight a few of the new starters, it's great to have these new guys on the team. The company's now, as Pierre says, we're about 62 people. So managing that from a communications perspective is good fun. And as we've grown internationally as well, with staff in the other offices as well. But just to highlight what we've been doing in the organisation, because of the growth of the company, we basically have been putting in some adjustments. So we've had a few, just announced a few small changes here. For some new appointments. So Jean McAvoy, where are you, Jean? There she is, stand up. So Jean McAvoy joined us recently. Jean is now heading up all the research and development activities. So Paul Kelly, who you all know and love dearly. Where's Paul? Hiding in the back. So Paul, Paul's taken on a full-time role heading up the product architecture side. So he's focusing on coming up with the best world-beating product from an architecture and features capacity for us. So Jean and Paul are working side by side for this. So Jean is making sure that the quality is there, the on-time delivery, stuff goes out the door, documentation is there, the stuff to make it trustworthy for yourself. And Paul is coming up with the next great stuff to put into it as well. Laura, who you all know, where's Laura? There she is, hiding behind the pole. Laura, frankly, the work that Laura's always been heading up all these project implementations with yourselves and all the support. And frankly, there's so much work going on, so basically we're splitting Laura in two. Okay? So Laura is basically taking on a key new role for us. This is a very important one for us, which is to head up what we call client relations and support. So her focus is on you guys. So all the support and make sure you get the best possible experience with engaging with the company. So I think most of you will work with her over the years. You know her primary focus has always been towards what the client wants at all times, and so she's going to focus on that in terms of the whole support organisation and how it works going forward, and all the ongoing interaction with clients and potential future business, etc. And Elaine Barry, where's Elaine? Down the back. Elaine Barry joins us on Monday next, okay? And Elaine will be heading up the professional services organisation for the actual implementation of those initial projects. So Elaine and Laura will be working side by side to make sure that we deliver all the new projects. And her focus is on the delivery of the projects with you. Okay, here's just looking to slow down. Thank you. I do need people to tell me to slow down at times. What we're trying to do here then also is basically building the team, building the delivery capability, building the management structure and the product. The whole goal for us is to extend the Terminalfour reach. So just as the whole conference is about extending your reach, we're trying to extend ours as well. And what we're basically looking at doing is extending, concentrating what we do best, as in the world's best web content management system, the strategy which we outlined, and basically, which is based around our geographic expansion and our market expansion. So as we go into new markets and focusing in on, say, higher education, we would then split out into other markets as well. So Piero mentioned that in the US, we got our first insurance clients, first large legal client, first banking client, and a lot of commercial clients as well. And what we're looking at doing is how can we extend further? And how can we basically go further by keeping this core base? And basically what we're looking at is additional offerings to our current markets, new offerings outside our core market and ways of doing this, and exploring new delivery models. So what we're going to do is Pierre is going to take you through some of what we see is happening in the market and what kind of things we like, what we're looking to do. And we're looking for feedback on this as to what would work and not work for us.